Hmm. Oh my goodness. Hey, you ever don't want to try something because you know you're gonna love it and it's gonna change your life and you're not ready to take that next step in your life? Well, that's how I felt about periodic audio. Oh, man. Yep, it happened to me. These unsuspecting in-ear monitors have literally changed my life. I had no idea that this was going on in the audio world. Look at them. They're so simple, so simple. No microphone, just, oh man, just a cable and two earbuds, in-ear monitors. I just didn't know up until just now. I was just introduced to this company and I decided to try their IEMs named Beryllium and Magnesium. And to push everything to its potential, I decided to try out the nickel, their little amp. But here's the problem. For almost 4 years, I've been telling y'all I am no expert in this stuff. I just like jamming earbuds and headphones. So I think it's about time I did bring in an expert, somebody who can explain this scientific wizardry matchup that's been done here in these Beryllium IEMs. So before I get knee deep into this video, let me see if I can get my man Dan on the line so he can explain to you guys what's been going on inside of my ear holes for the past few minutes.
Let's do it.
Hey Dan, what's going on, man?
Just hanging out here on a nice, wonderful, semi-cloudy Wednesday in Ventura. We have June gloom going, so doing good though.
Oh man, yeah, we got that Texas heat going. It is nice and
summer comes and it teases you. It goes, no, you can't have it yet.
Not here. It is like egg frying weather on the hood of a car right now. Yeah, seriously.
Oh man.
But I called to tell you that I finally got a chance to listen to these monitors. Right now, I've got the Magnesium in my ears, but the ones I really fell in love with were the Beryllium.
Yeah.
And I listened to them with the nickel amp, and my life has changed. So I remember when we talked the other day, and I told you that I was afraid to listen to them because it was going to send me down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the rabbit hole right now. We're in there. I was completely blown away. And, you know, my viewers, they're used to me, you know, being a little silly and just kind of not really going over specs and stuff like that because I don't care when it comes to like Bluetooth headphones and stuff. But this is some real high end stuff. This is a different animal right here. So I wanted to get an expert on the line. So everybody, can you see him? Veterans, get in here, and all you new guys, y'all get in here too. Let's talk to Dan.
Let me get the expert too.
So tell us what you do, Dan.
So I'm a guy who just designs a lot of acoustic equipment. Speakers are my life. I've been doing it for over 25 years. I'm probably one of the few guys on face of the earth that can say, if you've ever listened to recorded or live music anywhere in the world, you've probably heard my work. From recording studio monitors, recording microphones, headphones, speaker systems, PA systems. So I've just been doing speakers my whole life. I just love playing with sound, playing with audio. So
wow. Okay. So you have been around the block once or twice, maybe even 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. I've worn my own groove.
Okay. So at some point, I'm just, try to ignore it, but I'm going to share the screen for you guys' website. So tell us about periodic and why the name periodic and the theming of all the monitors, like, you know, from the elements of the periodic table.
Exactly. Periodic audio kind of started as a passion play. I had just left Blue Microphones. I did all their headphones and many of their microphones as well. And I wanted to release a headphone or a monitor product that I would be super happy with myself. What did I want? Some of my friends wanted to join me on that process. So I was like, I want to make something ultra comfortable. You know, as you probably noticed, these are super lightweight. I mean, there's no weight to them at all. And I did hearing aids early on in my career where I learned that weight is one of the biggest factors in terms of comfort. So I want something super lightweight to be incredibly clean sounding and accurate, super robust, and that's it. I don't care about being a fashion play. You know, as we say on our website, we're not going to make you popular because you have our stuff hanging out of your ear. We're not going to, we're not going to go and court the latest sports star or media mogul because, ooh, look, it's fashionable and hip. That's not it. It's all about the science of things.
Right.
And from that sprung the whole idea of people always ask me, what makes a good speaker? What makes a good speaker? What makes a good microphone? And inevitably, it's a combination of things. It's design capabilities, it's mechanicals, it's acoustical, it's electrical, but a lot of it is material. And so I thought this was a prime opportunity to show people what happens when you change material. Thus, I wanted to build the exact same in-ear product, in-ear monitor, and change just one variable. You know, the scientific method, you change one thing, you see what happens, then you change another thing, you see what happens, right? That kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So I decided I'm going to just change the material of the diaphragm only. We're going to do a beryllium because I had been playing around with a beryllium 10 millimeter that I really loved. I designed the transducer. And what happens if we make it a titanium or we make it a different material? In this case, we came up with magnesium. And we put them together and took them to a trade show. People loved them. They loved the chance to actually hear what that material change does between models. I'm sure, Antoine, you heard the difference between the models.
Yes, I have the magnesium and the beryllium, and there is a vast difference between the two.
Correct. And the only difference there, other than what color we changed the color on the plating on the back, so you could tell the two apart,
Right.
is the metal of the diaphragm. So it's kind of like, here's a science experiment that could be educational. If we could sell some, great, let's do that. So we focused hard in on that of just kind of keeping truism of design the best headphone you can, and then show people why materials matter, why we do what we do. And that's kind of where it came from. And here we are, you know, people were like, this is great, I'm still having some issues. And we said, well, you need an amplifier. So we'll go out and design the best amplifier there is. And we actually worked with Texas Instruments to roll the little chip that's in there. We had our production reel of chips before like DigiKey or Newark or any of the distributors even knew the product existed, which is kind of a thing we could trade on. So we're trying to build product that allows a person to have that life-changing experience without costing like a car.
I've seen them get a lot. Yeah, it can get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit more about my experience. I was truly blown away. And when I was looking at your it was, what was it? It was it's kind of like a, let me move my camera just a little bit. It was like a finder. Yeah, Selectatron. That's what it is.
Yes.
I was looking at the Selectatron and it told me that I'm a magnesium and beryllium kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I get these two in-house, and the first one I try is the beryllium. Mm-hmm. And my phone, I use a Galaxy Note 8 because it's the only device I got with a headphone jack.
Me too.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. Okay.
I'm addicted to the stylus and writing stuff down.
Right. Okay. So I've gone to the Note 10, but I keep that Note 8 for specific reasons, and this is definitely one of them.
Yep.
And it doesn't have a good, DAC in it or amplifier or anything in there. So I'll put in, the AKGs that came with it. They sound pretty good, until the beryllium shows up by itself. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that is a huge difference. So the clarity, the detail, there's even a sound stage there, which I'm really not getting in any other thing. And then I pull out the nickel, the amp. And you know what it reminded me of? Have you ever seen The Italian Job?
Yeah.
With Mark Wahlberg? You remember that scene with the scrawny guy? He says, I want a system so loud it'll blow a woman's clothes off.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
You didn't go get naked with this thing, did you?
I didn't get naked.
Too much information, dude.
I was feeling dressed at the time.
Yeah.
Oh man, but seriously, I plugged it in, and I wasn't sure how to work it because there's no buttons. And then I decided to read look online, and it said that as soon as you connect it, there's a smart thing in there. It says, "Okay, we're connected on both ends, input out and output." It turns on, I press play, and I'm like, oh man, it was just like eating some good food, man. It was like, like mama's food. You get it in there, it's like, oh man. And I didn't want to stop. So this was one of those times where I just go through my entire playlist, like all of them, and just sample everything. And everything sounded like almost like I was hearing it for the first time all over again. And I was like, well, I guess I got to sample these magnesiums. so, 2 hours later, here I am with the Magnesiums, and it's the same experience, but I do prefer the sound signature of the Beryllium.
Oh yeah.
It just seems a little bit more brighter, and
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's just heavier bass, because I think I'm a V-shaped kind of guy, like
Yeah.
maybe a U, like a sharp U or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But man, it's just life changing, because like I said, I'm a Bluetooth guy because I like the convenience of it.
Yep.
But when you want to hear some music, I had no idea. I'm sorry, guys out there. I'm sorry. I'm just now getting into this, and now my wife's going to be upset because she's going to see all kinds of charges at periodic. You just ruined my marriage, man.
Well, the best we can do.
Oh man, yeah, it's been a great experience, man. Just mind blowing.
Mhm. Well, I mean that's kind of, and that's why we did it. I mean, I love music. I've been a performer my whole life since I was 5 and 6, and singing in church choirs all the way up. I went into the technical side and building things instead of pursuing the performance side because number one, there's just not a lot of roles for big fat white guys with deep voices. Number one. And number two, to be honest, and my friends who are actually performers, they laugh really hard at this. So I'm not being bad or anything like that. But I didn't want to say, do you want fries with that for the rest of my life?
Right.
So rather than being the guy who scrimps and saves to buy a piece of gear, I decided I'd be the guy who designs the gear and help sell it to them. And in that way, I can actually influence the way music is perceived by people left and right. Like, and not many people know I worked at Sonos for several years. And so you know Sonos, the brand, portable speakers. It basically, if you've ever heard a Sonos speaker, you've probably heard what I did, transducers there. And so that's an opportunity to impact the way millions of people are experiencing music. Doing recording microphones, the same kind of thing, or recording studio monitors. I can impact how hundreds of millions of people perceive something by the way I designed some acoustic components in that. So I wanted to always be in that world, and this was a chance to do it. And this is kind of just an outlet that lets us get more personal and more direct. And we tell people there is no right or wrong unit. Like, well, which your best unit? Which one do you like best? I'll tell you the best headphone or the best speaker system to buy once you tell me the right amount of pepper and salt to put on a steak. Every person is different. So, a couple of the guys around here, they prefer, like my wife, she prefers Magnesium by far and away. I'm a Beryllium guy. My buddy up in Canada, Ben, he loves titanium, and carbon is really close to it. Other people love carbon. So which one's right? Whichever one actually lets you enjoy the music. It makes you want to plow through hours and hours of music and just listen to them all the time. That's the right unit. So that was the whole point of what we did it. The amplifier was very much, people don't realize the DACs, the D to A converters in these phones or tablets are really freaking good. It's the amplifier stage after them where they really compromise, because that's the expensive part. That's the part that generates all the heat, those kind of things. And so if you then take that amplifier in your phone and you load it into the nickel, it's basically driving nothing, because the nickel has a really high input impedance. It's called 10K ohm. So no current goes at all. So now your phone's DAC is operating like a CD or a real DAC in a home audio system. And the nickel becomes the real amplifier, and he can drive whatever you want. And it shouldn't do anything else. It shouldn't have a volume control, because then, well, how do you set the volume control on the amplifier versus how do you set the volume control on your headphone, on your cell phone, and all that kind of stuff? No, just don't do it. Why should there be an on and off switch? An amplifier only should work if it has a signal present and an output load. So let's just be smart and only turn ourselves, like you found out. You got to plug both of them in or it doesn't turn on, which is how it should be, kind of a thing. So the whole idea here is to make tiny little products that sound phenomenal and add zero friction to your life. You just plug it in and go. You're done.
Yeah, I did notice that the size was, pun intended, the size was huge to me, because all the other things I've looked at and just, I've had them in my Amazon cart or whatever, just thinking about it. Like, I don't want to carry that around, because it's like having another phone.
Exactly.
And I've looked several times. I see people with these straps. They even come with straps and extra cases. I'm like, damn, I don't want to carry that around. No. I saw this and I was like, this is unnoticeable. This is like some James Bond music stuff right here. So, yeah. And that's not even technical. You just plug in and go, and
that's exactly it. Let's make headphones that sound really, really good off of a cell phone to start with, because we know how those amplifiers work. And then let's make a little amplifier for the times you want it that just makes everything sound glorious. But it shouldn't sound anything worse than really, really good to start with. So that's
now that is a question. These are what I would call noob questions.
No problem.
So these AKGs that come with my phone, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I thought they were good, like I said, until the Beryllium showed up.
Yeah.
So why is there so much more volume and clarity in the Beryllium versus what we have here? And I know, you have a mic here and stuff like that, but you don't have one. Is it
correct?
Go ahead and explain.
So a couple things. Number one, I'll touch on the mic first.
Okay.
Microphones actually degrade the audio experience. If you stop and think about your TRS connection on the end, right? This little guy on your headphone, rings. Right?
Yeah.
It's got maybe 3 rings on it. I got to plug it back in. It's got a tip, a ring, maybe a second ring, and a sleeve.
Yeah.
And tip and ring are for left and right. And then the sleeve is usually for your ground, your common ground between the 2 speakers, like you always have to have. If you want a microphone, you need a 4th line in there. Well, that means the microphone and all those buttons are sharing the same ground as your audio signal too. And it not only creates measurable, but oftentimes audible distortion artifacts and noise artifacts on at least one line on your headphones. So if I want headphones to listen to them, don't do it. People are like, well, it's so convenient to have a microphone there. You can plug your headphones into your phone, like your wired ones, and take a phone call, and you can just talk to it like this. This microphone still works even though these are here. So,
are you serious?
Absolutely. I do it all the time on my phone. That's how I take my phone calls. So you can listen through your wired headphones and use the microphone on the phone. So why am I putting a lower cost, a lower quality mic that's going to interfere with audio quality and all other stuff here? That's number one. So we don't do that. Why our units sound better? I mean, one of the things people ding us is like, wow, that's kind of a big IEM. Physically, it's a pretty large unit, right? Compared to like the AKGs. Well, have you ever experienced a small home stereo system with a couple small little speakers, and then a home stereo system with big, huge monster speakers?
Yes.
You see, he's smiling right now. I get smiling already. Look at that. So, as the old drag racing maxim goes, there's no replacement for displacement. Bigger volume, number one, helps. We just get more bass out of it. We get more bottom end. We get more tightness. A big, huge, high power transducer. I mean, people don't realize that, when you stick these together, they actually cling together, right?
I did notice that. Because
the magnets are so strong. That's like the magnets are part of like basically the motor inside of it, make it happen. So they're super strong magnets that enable it to go. So we put a lot of money into the transducer here. AKG, great engineering, great product, but it was designed for a price point because it had to ship with the Samsungs. And Samsung probably, because they own AKG, they own Harman, they own all the Harman brands as well. They probably came in and said, we can't spend more than $4 for a pair of headphones. And so AKG designed a phenomenal pair of $4 headphones, but they're a $4 headphone.
Gotcha.
We've got $12 in just the diaphragm. The speaker here, so we've already tripled that.
Wow.
We mold our own earbuds, and these are not cheap to make. We got close to $2 worth of earbuds and foam tips.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of
sidetrack you or anything, but man, if you can't find an earbud or a tip in here that fits you, you're just a snob, and you're being really picky because y'all give us everything. Foam comply, these double-decker ones. What are those called?
I call those double flange.
Double flange. Okay.
Some people call them Christmas tree.
Christmas tree. Yeah. But the ones that actually came on it fit my ear hole. So that was
perfect.
Nice,
yeah. So we design our own ear tips. We tool our own ear tips. We make our own ear tips. Yeah. So we do everything inside. So that's something I learned from Greg Mackey back in the day. You've heard of Mackey like studio mixers and stuff like that.
I have heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mackey. They're a huge brand. I did some work for them back in the 90s. And Greg used to say, those who tool rule. So in other words, if you want something, design it and build it yourself. Don't just take something off the shelf and try to adapt it. And that's kind of the philosophy that comes through. So we designed a purpose-built tool instead of one that's just, it has to be a freebie giveaway that everybody else is going to just live with. Let's design something for people who really want it and go from there. And then price it not at we're going to only spend this much. It's like, this is what it costs to make, So.
Nice. Well, I am thoroughly impressed. I'll be honest with you. I saw them and I was like, all right, some wired earbuds. Here we go.
It's like old school, but
the next thing you know, I'm like sitting here 2 hours later, just shuffling through my phone and let's not go there again because you're going to end up taking up 2 more hours of my life with these doggone monitors, man. I had no idea what I was missing this whole time. And it's
were you happy?
Experience. What was that?
Were you happy?
Oh
Slogging through the
man,
music.
you should have saw the smile on my face. I'm glad the cameras weren't on. You know, like
Yep.
when you make a cheesy, stupid face and you're like, man, I hope nobody saw that. That's what it was
Well,
like. It was like, ooh.
then it did its job, man. Dude, music is about enjoyment. Music
Yeah.
is fantasy. Music is release. Music is happiness. Music is life. You
Yeah.
should smile when you play this stuff, man.
And I listen to all kinds, literally. I
Yeah.
go from hip hop to R&B to old classic soul to smooth jazz, country, salsa. What else? A classic rock. I love classic rock.
Mhm.
Man, yeah, it's just everything. And I scroll through all of it, like
Awesome.
several songs.
Good. That's awesome. That's the way it should be. That's what we want to do. We're more interested in making sure people are happy and
Mhm.
enjoying music than trying to be a fashion brand or being some cool thing. People have asked us, when are we going to do a Bluetooth product? And our answer is probably never,
Yeah, don't.
because Bluetooth quality is not to where we're happy with it.
I get
We
it.
will come out with a wireless solution when there's a wireless solution, or we invent our own wireless solution that gives an audio experience we're happy with. Otherwise, we're just not going to go there. Doesn't make sense.
I can totally understand that. And it's funny how, and I don't want to keep you that
No
much
worries.
longer. It's funny how I started out, I've been listening to music since like I could listen to music. And as you evolve with it, I never really got into high-end stuff. I just wanted to hear the beats and I wanted to hear the
Yep.
song.
Yep.
So Bluetooth comes around and I'm like, all right, well, this doesn't sound as good as my headphones did, but it's portable. So Bluetooth does evolve. It gets better, 4.2 and then 5.0. And then you've conditioned your ears for it. So
Yes.
even though it's not the best, it still sounds fantastic because you're conditioned to it. It's like eating,
Exactly.
it's like eating your aunt's cooking who really can't cook.
Yeah, exactly. But that's all you know, man. That's what you're used to.
It's
Like,
what you know. And then, somebody comes along and cooks you a real meal and you're like, holy crap, this is good.
Exactly.
And that's what I experienced today. Also,
Awesome.
with the nickel, because the monitors sound great by themselves without the nickel.
Yep.
I figured that out very quickly, but then I added the nickel, then experienced that. Then I got real curious. So I started pulling out all my other headphones and plugging them into the nickel. Totally different set of headphones.
Totally, exactly. It's something called, diving into the techie world here, there's something called impedance. And oftentimes you see like, it's 32 ohms or 16 ohms or 50 ohms.
Right.
That's just the average value. If you actually look like on our website, there's curves of impedance. You'll see this little tiny blip and go like that. If you look at it, and what it's doing is telling you how the resistance or the ability to, the ratio of current to voltage that it pulls, how much power it's going to pull for a given applied voltage changes over frequency. So ours is almost ruler flat. A lot of the more complex IEMs are over your head. They got all these big peaks and dips and things like that. And what happens in the electrical world is when you have a peak, you tend to have more impedance you're driving. Okay, it's not so bad. When it dips down, you have less impedance, you're pulling more current, you get the frequency response of your amplifier starts changing. And so your frequency response to your amplifier is no longer flat. It's now doing the inverse of your impedance trace. And so it's like getting in there and equalizing you, and you have no notice. You don't even know it, and you can't really counteract it unless you can measure impedance. So one of the things we did really hard was to design as flat of an impedance as we could, so that our IEMs sound good on any amplifier. But if you have really bad headphones and you try driving from a note or something like that, where the impedance is kind of screwy, well, you know what? It sounds bad. So the nickel though has no problem driving anything.
Yeah, this thing is incredible. I can't believe this little bitty thing does all of that.
Totally. It's it's a beast. So it does an honest quarter watt per channel continuous into 32 ohms if you want it. Now you need a lot of input gain to it, but I mean that's just stupid. The thing is though, it's just ruler flat, no noise. That's the point of an amplifier. An amplifier should take a signal, make it a little louder, and eliminate any distraction from it. That's what we did.
Well, before I get out of here, I do want to tell you that I attempted to turn the volume up all the way on several of them, and I couldn't. I usually take it pretty loud when I set up the headphones just to see how loud they'll go if there's any distortion. I couldn't get it all the way up because it was painful.
We and that was one of the things we talked about a lot when we were doing this, is how much gain to put in it. We only put 6.5 dB of gain, which is about 2 clicks of volume. If you notice on your Note 8, play it, put the nickel in, turn it down about 2 clicks, about the same volume level. A lot of people are saying, oh, you need 10, 12, 15 because it'll sound more powerful. But then you're reducing your cell phone to the point of, well, I can only have 5 or 6 volume clicks between nothing and way too loud. By only putting 6.5 dB, we get to keep about 15 of them. We get to keep most of your volume range anyway. And it's still plenty loud, as you mentioned. It's like, okay, it's stupid loud.
So. Yeah, I'm at 1 click past halfway. Like you have that blue line, then it turns red after that.
Exactly.
Once that red line hits, I can't really take anymore.
Same with you. I'm usually 1 click for half. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So we're gonna get out of here, but I want to let all you deaf guys out there know, like these are loud, because I know there's a lot of times that I'll showcase some headphones or earbuds, and they're like, well, these weren't loud enough. He said they were loud. I'm not messing around with you, man. You will damage your hearing.
Just a quick note there. We're actually at about 100 dB at 1 milliwatt, and that is the maximum allowed per EN 50332, which is European directive in terms of volume. So
a regulation on that?
There's a regulation, and we as professionals, because we don't just design our own stuff. I mean, we're designing stuff for people left and right now. I mean, the Dolby Dimension headphones that came out?
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at the guy who did all the physical acoustics, designed the transducer, and my team, you guys, did all the mechanicals for the entire thing. So we actually developed for people like Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies. This is really a passion play for us. I'm not kidding. People like, oh, it's just a marketing scheme. No, this is a passion play. We make our money elsewhere. But there's a regulation about how loud you can actually get. And we abide by that. We abide by all those rules and regulations because that's what we do professionally. A lot of people don't. And that's kind of like, well, stupid. But when you're a pro, you should know this stuff.
But wait, you're telling me as loud as these things get, that's actually legal?
That's actually legal. Yes, it is legal. Which is stupid. I agree. But that's legal.
Okay.
I hear you.
Oh, Dan. Hey, I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, man.
Dude, anytime you want.
All right. I'm thoroughly impressed. Life-changing events going on here. And yeah, man, I might hang up my Bluetooth for a while and just enjoy these. And yeah, it's a done deal, man.
There you go.
You're in California, right?
I am. I'm out in Ventura, California.
Ventura. All right, man. Well, y'all have fun in the sun when it does decide to show up again.
It's starting to break through.
All right. Hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, take care, man.
All right, have a good one. Oh, so you wanted them cats that like to just run up in a place, take what you want, then leave, huh? Man, you better hit that subscribe and notification button. That way you know when I'm over here opening up new stuff. And while you're down there, you might want to consider tapping that join button and becoming a member, because membership has its perks. See, that wasn't so bad. All right, man, I appreciate you, and I'll see you at the next one.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?